This is the ABQ Business Podcast
with your host, Jason Rigby.
Each week we'll interview visionary business leaders to inspire the creative power and spirit
That's in every entrepreneur.
discussing strengths, weaknesses, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together for a new future for local small business.
What is up, guys? Want to talk to you about somebody that's controversial in many ways, but I have met him, talked to him, and he has been hugely instrumental in my life, and that's Grant Cardone. If you don't know him, he's an influencer on Instagram. He's also a billionaire. He's a real estate investor. And he, more than anybody, I think, when I was in my funk, and many of you know, I attempted suicide, and I've shared all that with you and that story, and I'll share that again at some point in the future. But many of you know that. And then somebody introduced me to him, and then I was able to, years later, I met him when I was in Las Vegas, but I was able to read his books, and it just changed my life dramatically. And so I owe a lot to Grant Cardone. I know sometimes for some of you, he can be a little controversial. He's a little over the edge, but I like that. I need like hard hitting truth. And there was a book that he did called the 10X Rule. And he's the author of that book. He's got a bunch of books, Be Obsessed or Be Average. There's a lot of them. But the 10X Rule, I think more than any book, has transformed my thought process in what I view success as. And I want to go over it with you. We're just briefly go over it today. I encourage you to, like I said, you can purchase this book. It's called the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and you need to read it. I would read it now. I would cut me off and go on Kindle and get the book and read it. No, I'm teasing, but listen to this 20, 30-minute podcast and then buy the book, guys. I want to start off by addressing the word success and what that looks like. And he defines it in a really good way. He questions it too, like, what is success for you as a person? You know, we always set goals, and we put those goals out there. You know, I want to lose 10 pounds. You know, I want to do this. I want to do that. But we don't understand the potential we do have, and that our thought process limits us in what exactly we can accomplish. Any dream that we have, when we attach passion to it and hard work and discipline, we can accomplish. I don't care what it is. There are certain things, of course, that we're limited by. No matter, I'm 47 years old. I'm 6'2", so I could probably, play basketball and do okay. I played it in high school and in the Marine Corps, but I'll never make the NBA. So no matter how hard I try, I could become a really good basketball player. But there's that, so I have to look at that, and you have to look at your goals and say, okay, where am I at? Is this realistic? Of course, but there are goals that we can accomplish. There are things that we can do that take us way beyond our comfort zone. And that's what he gets into when he gets into this. And he calls it extraordinary feats, that the 10X rule causes you to do way more than you could ever think. And one of the things that he had shared with me, he goes, yeah, you're going to make this crazy goal. Let's say you don't accomplish that goal. But let's say you 5 times instead of 10X. That's way more than you thought you could ever do. And look how far you got. Now you've got that momentum going for you. Now you can move in the direction from the other. Now that you've 5X'd it, now you can say, how can I 10X from there? And move, I just love this book, and you guys are going to see that as I get into it a little bit. But the 10X rule, he says, it takes you at least 10 times more action and thinking to move beyond your current level of success. So where you're at now, whether you believe you're successful or not, where you're at now, it takes 10 times more than you think. We underestimate the amount of action or mindset shift required to achieve success. This is why we fall short of our goals. Guys, get this. We underestimate the amount of action that's required. We have to push. We have to push harder than we think, but we have to push in the right way. And he uses word, and I have used this since, I think it was like 2011 when I first was introduced to Grant Cardone, and I have followed him ever since. But he talks about taking the right massive actions. Taking the right massive actions. But then he goes into sometimes, no matter what you do, you're still underperformed. No matter what you do, You still play victim. Even though you may succeed in business, next thing you know, you have a financial disaster and you're back down to zero. The 10X rule strongly emphasizes 10X goals. Both aspects of the rule work hand in hand. You need to have lofty, extraordinary goals, and you must put in the right amount of effort to make them a reality. Two things: 10X goals, 10X massive action. And he says, don't be afraid to think big, because when you begin limiting the amount of success you desire, you start to cut down on the amount of action needed. And this will make success far from you. Can you see how these go hand in hand? You start limiting your goal, or you start compromising for safety, then you're going to limit the amount of action that you need to do. And you're going to make it too easy for you. Yeah, you may be able to accomplish that, but where could you have gone if you stretch to move forward? He says success is a progressive actualization of a worthy goal. It can be called success only if you achieve, maintain, and repeat. So it's not just achieving a goal, it's maintaining the results. And then from there, measuring it. And then you can go from there and say, okay, I climbed that step. Now I'm going to move on to the next step. I climbed this mountain, went through all this bullshit, all these valleys. Now I'm here. So now I'm going to take it to the next step, and I'm going to go climb Mount Everest or whatever mountain it may be. And he uses an example. If you set a target to lose 10 pounds and succeed at it, only to regain 12 pounds after a few weeks, true success is maintained. It's also progressive. Success never ends. After fulfilling one target, you move on to the next with an even greater mindset and action. Any target attacked with the right actions and the right amount with persistence is attainable. Get that, guys. Any target attacked with the right actions and the right amounts with persistence. Be patient and be persistent. It is attainable. What you're thinking, that's a crazy goal, is attainable. You can accomplish it. And I hate this because what really happens is when we start to dominate, we skip out. When we start to dominate, I don't need to go, I'm number one on the court. I don't need to do that practice. I don't want to injure myself. We start making all these excuses. I don't need to do this. I'll cut back so that I can be good for the game. I'll do this. I'll do that. And we start making all these little compromises in our head. And then we try to justify it logically. And really what we're doing is we're settling. And we're going to talk about that, like normal action and stuff like that. What exactly is success? 3 things you need to know about it. It is the progressive actualization of a worthy goal. And he says that's we need to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. And we need to find out these 3 things. And this is imperative, guys. This is something that you need to write down. If you want to succeed and repeat success over and over and over again, you need these 3 things. Success is important. Number 1, success is important. It is. It's for everything in your life. The people that you love. If you're not successful, guys, how can you influence and help and lead and provide for your family and your friends and everyone that's around you? Success is important. Number 2, success is your duty. This is one that and he has signs you can buy and stuff like that and put them in your office, stickers and all that on Grant Cardone's website. But success, and he has this one, success is your duty. I like to look at that. It is my responsibility, it is my duty. If I'm not successful, I am going against who I am. And we're going to get into that a little bit more about ethics and being success is an ethical issue. And then number 3, there is no shortage of success. It's abundance, guys. Starbucks came in when everybody was selling coffee. And they came in and they took over and they dominated. He says, your life will be hard if you don't succeed in your endeavors. You won't last long in your career. You'll struggle financially, spiritually, and relationally. Simply, you'll live an unhappy life. Unsuccessful people are unhappy. Success for you can be totally different for someone else. When we think of success, it's not all of us being CEOs. Maybe you want to be Joe Rogan and have, make over $100 million a year and have 4 employees. Or maybe you want to have 400 employees and franchise and have business after business pop up all over the United States and then the world. Success, he says, won't come to you unless you work towards it. I want you to get those words. Work towards it. Nobody folds their arms and waits for success to meet in their living room. You have to go all out for it. That is something that I had to learn is am I 100% into this? Am I going to live, eat, breathe, and in every action that I do, everything I do 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, am I committed to doing this? Is my commitment level there? Whether it's success in life, career, business, and family, you have to look at those things. If you can't commit 100% and take 100% responsibility for your massive actions that you're going to do to 10x your goals, then you need not to do that. You need to find something else. You cannot, I repeat, cannot not plan and work towards it and just expect luck to happen. Success is an obligation. It is a duty, and I love how he says this, and I want you guys to think this. It is an ethic. When you start seeing success as ethical, your mindset towards it begins to shift. Like, it is wrong and unethical for me not to be successful. Because when you have that mind shift in your brain and you begin to say, it is unethical what I'm doing right now. I am goofing off. I am being lazy. I am not living up to my potential right now. I am being unethical because what I should be doing is being successful. And that can be in your relationship. It could be spiritually. It could be physically in taking care of yourself. It could be mentally in becoming self-aware. Whatever it may be in your guys' life, in your relationship, I need a successful relationship. If I do not have a successful relationship, it is me being unethical. Am I 10xing my relationship? What does that look like? He says success is not like the gas in your car that can become empty or like an oil well that will eventually run dry. No, success is unlimited. There is no limit to the amount of success that you can achieve. You are the only one that prevents your success. Think about that. You are the only one that prevents your success. You can be successful and make a living off of anything if you will put your passion and your mind to it. Someone created Facebook and then someone turned around and said, okay, I'm going to make a living off of making Facebook ads. I'm going to make a living off of doing bomb Facebook posts. I'm going to make a living off of making videos. And I'll make videos for Facebook and social media posts. There's so much that you can create. Success begets success. This idea, and he talks about this, that another person's success will restrict yours is a limiting belief because it breeds envy, jealousy, and hatred. And the opposite of that he talks about is ingenuity, creativity, and innovation. If you have envy, jealousy, and hatred, you will not be creative, guys. How can you innovate when you're consumed by your competitor? How can you dominate your competitor and have a complete paradigm shift and get to that next level if you're just consumed in what they're doing with negativity? You're just putting yourself in their level. You're putting yourself at this mediocre lifestyle that does not succeed. Success is not something you achieve, it's something you attract. Things don't just happen to you, they happen because of you. Get this, guys. Things don't just happen to you. They happen because of you. There's so much to unwrap in this. It is because of you. The things that bad has happened to you are because of you. The things that good has happened to you are because of you. You attract. Like attracts like. You attract success because of who you are. You attract your failure because of who you are. Now, you can take the failure and make success out of it by saying, I failed doing this, this, and this, but guess what? I learned from it. I became more self-aware. I'm more disciplined now. That failure that I experienced has made me this, and this is success. He says you need to get into your subconscious that nothing just happens and that you're directly and directly responsible for things that happen in your life. The 10X mindset doesn't blame people or circumstances for the result it sees. Rather, it takes full responsibility for all that happens. Stop playing victim, guys. That journey that you're going to be walking on of success is solely because of you. It is not because somebody did something against you or for you. Don't even look at those things. You have gratitude either way, but you solely are the responsible, because when it gets difficult, You are the one that's going to have to push. That goes in your mindset. A 10X performer will think differently. She or he will search herself to find out how she could have fueled anything that's bad in her life. She'll determine what steps she can take to prevent it the next time. Success is a full-time job. So he gives us 4 levels of action and the various results they produce. 4 levels. Here we go. So far, we've established that our thoughts and actions are the greatest driver of success in our lives, that we'll attain great heights if our thinking is unlimited. We can be the greatest minds in the world, but our mind cannot have the ability to make us not commit, to not take the necessary action. Those people that make excuses to you, that feed your excuses of you being mediocre, those are the same people that don't understand success. All they're going to do is they're feeling unhappy and unsuccessful, so they're going to agree with you. You don't need those type of friends. He says it goes to say that you can change the quality of your life by changing your actions. So, number 1, most people have no action. They've just given up. They no longer take action towards the things they desired. They're complacent. They don't have a learning mindset. They don't seek knowledge. They don't do anything. They're just existing. There's no energy there. There's no expansion. They're just trying to get a free lunch, trying to get whatever they can, and then hope that the lottery ticket that they bought for $1 bails them out. There's no action in that group. Number 2 is the retreat group. People in this category have at some point taken actions that didn't deliver as expected. So because of failure, they retreated. They considered, it's hopeless. I'll just settle. These are people that settle. They retreat and then they settle. And he talks about failure, that it's a thought pattern. That is all it is. You may think you failed in business after failing to reach your goals twice, but if you strike again, you might just find that things work out well. Stop jumping to conclusions and start focusing critically and examine what the failure was, how you can learn from it, and then how you're going to 10X and take massive action to pull yourself out of it. Then number 3 is normal action. This level of action is the most prevalent in our society today, and it's the most socially acceptable. Can I tell you something? It is not socially acceptable to take 10X. You are going to be a different person. You are going to lose friends and family. If you start becoming this, they're going to think you're crazy. Everybody wants the normal, the mediocre, the warm water. When you start turning it on to boil and you start saying, I can't go out tonight. I'm sorry. I really would like to. I've got this. You work too much. Are you workaholic? You do too much. Maybe it's you trying to look at a relationship and say, I'm going to 10X this and be the best person that I can be. And that other person's gotten so used to being mediocre, and now that you've stepped it up, they don't want to step it up. And so now they're just putting pressure on you to bring it back down because they don't want to have the responsibility and they feel guilty because of what you're giving to them. You may lose a relationship. That's why people like to stay in the normal. Average education, average car, average family, average career, average. Everyone's scared of failing, so they just want to live an average life. It's the middle class, stuck in the middle class, comfortable. Normal levels of action lead to a normal average life, and living an average life is dangerous because anything can happen. You got to think about this. If you're living in middle-class life, something dangerous could happen like COVID. And the next thing you know, you lost your job and you're broke. You need to have massive action. You need to be extremely successful so that you can turn around and have the ability to be able to pivot when something bad happens. Then number 4 is massive action. This realm of action is considered borderline insanity by many people because it transcends the societal understanding of hard work or progressive success. And he talks about looking at nature. The bees, the ants, they just do massive action all the time. He goes into, and I love this, like the ocean, it never stops. It's always moving. And like I said, you don't need to be working 24/7, not sleeping, all that. Sometimes you may have to have some sleepless nights whatever it may take, but you need to take care of yourself. But you need to think 10x action. How can my business be in front of people 24/7? Well, I need to work on my website. I need to get that up and have this. Maybe I need to be running ads. I want to run ads in the middle of the night. So people are, while I'm sleeping, maybe I'm going to outsource some stuff so I can have people working on my stuff while I'm sleeping. I'm going to reproduce myself. How can I do that? How can I, okay, I want to hire these 3 people and that's going to cost 10 grand a month. Well, how do I get this 10 grand so I can hire these 3 people so that I can move in this direction? Massive action is all about relentlessly engaging in activities that move you, your company, and your family forward. There's no retreat, he says. There is no retreat. You do not fall back to normal action. It's simply consistent, massive action. And over time, that will always lead to success. It will attract criticism because mediocre people do not want to be put on blast. But who cares? It is the results of your life. It is your life that produces, through massive action and the right thought process, it produces success. And then those naysayers, those people that question you and doubted you, oh, wow, you're successful now. Now they want to be your best friend. Refuse to be in the first 3 categories, says. Resolve now to be a massive action taker. How do you do that? He says setting high goals doesn't make you unrealistic. In fact, it's the only way to maximize your potential. We are truly unlimited. Setting realistic goals is average, guys. He says, for the extraordinary person, there's no such thing as unrealistic goals. There only exist goals that require massive amounts of action compared to others. Don't be afraid to set big goals because those big goals bring happiness and fulfillment into your life. When you hit a big goal, there's no other feeling of accomplishment that you're going to get than hitting that big goal. And you get a chance to prove yourself, to say, this mindset, there's no way in hell I thought that this would work. This mindset exists, and this is what I need to do. Lofty goals provide the momentum to keep you going, even in the face of resistance or setbacks. But it's easy to let go of small goals in such circumstances. As a rule of thumb, he said you should cultivate the habit of reviewing your goals every single day. This will help you stay on course and commit to bringing them to pass. The 10X rule is about thinking and acting 10X more than the average person. And he said, stop competing with others. Others are average. Don't compete with them. How do you 10X that? Ask yourself, how can I 10X my competition? What do I need to do to accomplish that? And he goes into talking about life as a gift, and it is. And when we begin to have true gratitude for understanding that our life is a gift and that it's meant to be enjoyed, not endured, and that being unhappy is a state of mind because we are unsuccessful. Go the extra mile. Do 10 times more than you even think that you can. Refuse to think or act small. Those potential, that hidden potential that's inside of you is just waiting to be unleashed based off of you doing this massive action. Take success. Make it an ethical obligation. I guarantee you, your life will go in the direction that you and your passion want it to go. And he concludes in this, and I'll be done. He says, take an inventory of your life. Are you satisfied with the house you're living in, your financial status, your overall personal achievement? No? Then the 10X rule is for you. Pick up a pen and paper and begin writing down your dream life. Don't think of how you'll actualize it. Your assignment is just to write it all down. Pen the exact life that you want. When you're done, close your eyes and begin imagining yourself living that life. How do you feel? We all say, oh my God, I feel so great. Okay? Those are your goals for the next 12 months. That is what you're going to do for the year. How do I get there? This is the life I want. I'm going to repeat this process, massive action every single day, morning, night. And I'm going to allow my mind, as it knows this is the goal. This is the life that I'm going to live. This is the life that I visualized. My mind, as I begin to do massive action, my mind will come up with 10X strategies and actions that will deliver me to the goal. It's amazing how that works. It's success, guys. It's our obligation. It's our duty. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. I hope I motivated you. I hope you get this book, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Thank Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share.
And go to abqpodcast.com.
Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.